You think it'd be okay for this week's video podcast if I talk family and we talk family for a few minutes?
Sure. I mean, I think that's what people do. I talk family a lot. So,
I mean, I do, so I just don't
well, we
know.
have some
You do
viewers
too.
that talk family sometimes. They may not do it on the internet, but well, go ahead.
Well, for
I
me,
guess
and
where you're going with this conversation. So,
well, because family is what it's all about at the end of the day. I mean, we talk about
mhm.
retirement all the time, and a lot of times the point is to be closer to family when you retire, or
Yeah, absolutely.
maybe
I
leave
mean,
your family
what is
behind.
all
I don't
this
know.
really about, right?
What's it
So,
all for?
what's it all
And a
for? Get some free
reminder of
time, not have to worry about, hopefully, don't have to worry about money.
Mhm.
Um,
So I want to stop you there because that's what's hitting me kind of hard. I was going through some old things, and it got me thinking about my grandparents because I found some of their old things. And I thought
mhm,
about when they were retired. Now, my grandmother
mhm.
was born in 1911, my grandfather in 1912. Both worked very hard. And
Yeah, if you're
Depression era.
a Colt firearms fan, 1911 is kind of a big year for you. The Colt 1911 45, but that's not
Interesting.
everybody. Go ahead.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. So my grandparents, retired and they just kind of hung out at the house. He was out in the garden. This is one set of grandparents. He had acres and acres, I call it a garden, and he had chickens and goats,
Mhm.
and he just kept himself busy, what I call piddling. We're Southerners.
Yeah,
You know what piddling
sure.
is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Just and they were happy doing that, canning things, and
Mhm.
occasionally would take this big bus with all their old people friends. And I say that lovingly because they were my grandparents. I can say that to
Mhm.
Branson, Missouri. That was as big as it got, Mike. Every couple of
And
years
it's
they'd
still
do that.
Branson's still big. I mean, there's there are people that still get on buses and go to Branson, and
And
lots of shows. I think I haven't been, but a lot of shows and stuff like that. Yeah.
I haven't been either, but apparently they were advertising it back in the day, and it's now
Mhm.
still a thing. That's good to know. But I found this. Look at that. My
Yeah.
grandfather, very much a
Is
fan
it
of
a
Miller High
coffee
Life.
mug or like a beer stein? I can
Oh
see
no,
it says
it's a
Miller.
Miller High Life, and I'm going to lean
Mhm.
in. Look at this wooden handle with the oh, there we go.
They
Look
don't
at
make
that.
them like that anymore. Yeah, that's the is that the champagne of beers or is that something else? Well, that's Milwaukee. See, beer fans are probably
I
getting
think
upset with me right
Miller
now.
High Life is the champagne beer. I don't know. I'm not a beer
Could be.
person, but here's what I am. I knew my grandparents, and my granddaddy had this, and they kept things
Mhm.
simple. And this is
You
cool.
could keep a lot in that. You could do coffee. You could do beer. We could do just about anything. But
I do pens and pencils. However,
well, you're preserving it. See,
yeah. But I
yeah.
mean, they retired a very simple life in retirement. And I'm not being critical of what people do because I have so many friends that are retired that are gallivanting around the world. And I think that's awesome. But is that all due to advertisement and pressure from society, you think? I mean, retirement is just changed so much.
Yeah. Well, to your point, it seems like our maybe not so much our parents, but like our grandparents' generation. It
The
was
greatest
just simpler.
generation.
The greatest generation. It was simpler. You worked hard, you made a living, you raised a family, and you retired with most people, not everyone, but a pension if you were working for a company or a state or a government organization, or a bunch of real estate. Maybe you your net worth was based on the farm that you even farmed, right? That just keeps getting passed down the family. But there were sources of income that you had in retirement, not necessarily based on the amount of money that you saved for retirement,
Yeah,
but
because
the
they
amount
didn't have a
of
$1 million saved.
time,
I know.
hang on, but the amount of time you spent, right? So it
Mm,
was if you commit this portion of your life to this particular organization or this particular
hmm
government, state or federal, or just even the farm, then there was going to be an income stream from that later in life. So yeah, again, pensions, and then Social Security on top of that, and it's changed. It's very different for people now. It's not
Social
that pensions
Security,
don't
even.
exist; they're just less. Yeah, they're just less common. And Social Security, yeah. So we're the this transition into retirement. One of the biggest issues people are having is that it's not a retirement for most people now isn't a stated benefit. In other words, it's not a if I work to this specific age, then I will continue to get paid this much for the rest of my life.
Like
Right.
cause
So
and
that
effect. I do this, that
cause and effect.
happens.
Yeah, you can budget off of it, and they go, okay, well, if I'm getting my Social Security, it's going to be this much. Then if I'm getting my pension, it's going to be that much. And then if I add those two together, it's very similar to actually working, right? You living within your means. If you know what your salary
Yeah.
is, and you know what's coming in every month, and you understand what your after tax is, you built a lifestyle on that. And so that's changed because, well, I mean, technically, the reason it changed was in the early 80s. This idea and the legislation to allow the 401k accounts, which is what people, most people, not everybody, the retirement plan at work, that came into
Hmm.
passing. And so now people are sure. I mean, there's a lot of people have, half a million, a million, more than a million in these retirement plans at work, but there isn't somebody standing there going, all right, with the company anyway, going, well, this is how much you can take out of that account on a monthly basis for the rest of your life. And you won't run out of money, and don't worry about inflation and stuff. They're actually, it's actually quite a bit different. They're going, all right, thank you for your service. Now that you don't work here anymore, here's this pile of money. You go
Hmm.
figure out what to do with it.
Yep. That's not
And
our
okay,
area. We just helped
not, yeah,
you, encouraged you to accumulate it, sometimes matched it, maybe.
yeah. So they're almost like, hey, not our problem. Here it is. Good luck. Thank you. Don't
Yeah,
call us.
you're right.
Yeah. And this just people just sort of get pushed out the door. Now, a lot of times they chose to do that, and they're starting to map it out. But then also, there's very little education about what to do with that money in that sector, right? Meaning with
Mm,
the employer. It's like, well, our job isn't to tell you what to do with it after you leave. You're not our problem anymore. Our job was just to help you build it over time.
right.
And it gets confusing, and there are a lot of people. So I don't want any of our viewers to feel like, hey, do other people have this problem? Yes, lots of people have this problem of, okay, I have this much money. Um, I've made this transition to retirement. How much can I spend without running out of money? How should I be invested to not run out of money? What about inflation? What about taxes? What about health insurance costs? I mean, all of these things go into the financial planning process. And so now there's obviously a huge industry that revolves around that. And we're a part of
Right.
that, Kristen. So we're a part of this industry that helps people understand how to invest that money moving forward, depending on your specific goals and needs, because everybody's a little bit different. And, I think you asked me a little bit before the, our podcast here, just, is there a number? And the answer is it's not, it's different for everyone. There are people that could
Yes,
retire.
guys, I even still ask that question off mic. Is there a number?
Is there a number? Is it a
Everybody
million?
wants to know.
There's not a number.
Right.
Would it be better to have $1 million instead of $500,000? Well, sure, it's twice as much, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it makes things a little bit easier, but that's not specific to someone's need. The real question is how much you're going to need to spend to maintain your standard of living. What
Hmm.
sources of income do you have in retirement? Social Security. When should you take it? How should that be done? How do you maximize it? That would be a part of a financial planning process. Do you have a pension or not? Some people do, some people don't. Fewer do now than used to have. Other sources of income, real estate. You put all of that in. So again, the the math isn't probably as complicated as people feel like it might be. But there is a way to show people what all of the investment options are. Because if you're making that transition thinking, well, I could either go to the bank and get just a fixed rate of interest, or I could put my money in the market, and I'm not really sure what that would be, but theoretically it would be higher. Which one should I
Hmm.
do? And the reality is that the choices and the options, it's way, way more broad than that. There is a lot that you could do that you probably aren't aware of when it comes to whether you're looking for growth, whether you're looking for income, whether you're looking for a combination of. As long as you can find a way to get educated on those options and work with an advisor that's a true fiduciary, somebody who has a vested interest in you doing well, somebody who's not putting you in commission based stuff, somebody who's going to say, all right, well, listen, if you choose to hire me, I'll charge you a fee to manage your portfolio. If you choose to fire me, then I'm fired. You're not going to pay me the fee anymore. So the only reason you would pay them the fee is if they were providing value. It can be done. Just not everybody realizes how to find the right person or where that person might be for them. And of course, we just recommend that just talk to several, find advisors that
Mhm.
A, are fiduciaries, B, are going to present you with all of your options, not just the options that their company promotes. But at the same time, it's also going to come down to personality, Kristen, right? Don't we all want to work with
For
somebody
sure.
that we actually like? And
I
if the more
mean, yeah, that'd be nice.
the more people you talk to, the better the odds are. You're going to find someone that, you know what, I like this person. And you know what, I do think they're a true fiduciary. And they did take the time to explain to me how this works moving forward. And you feel like it's potentially a good relationship. So it is
Full
what it is.
circle. It's about simplicity. My grandparents, they kept it simple, right? Look at that
That's
thing.
right.
You just,
That's right.
you make a little, it was probably a cup that I don't know if he made this or ordered. Either way, it was a simply made thing. They had a simple retirement. And at Talon Wealth, our team simplifies the retirement transition process and planning so that people can focus on what it is they want to do and enjoy.
Like we said, we started this with family, right? And what's really important. So you can't take the money with you, but you got to make sure you don't run out of it over time. So finding that balance isn't always easy to do. But I think if you find the right person to talk to, it's going to be a little bit easier and you'll be more confident.
And if you feel that's us, great. Guardingyournestegg.com. All the things are there. You're here at our YouTube channel. Please do subscribe. And if you like what we're talking about, share it with your friends. It could be helpful. Maybe they're looking for that simplicity too. Mike, have a good week, my friend. And listen, I'm going to warn you. I feel like I'm going to be 10 pounds heavier next recording because it's the holiday
Next
season. So
recording, it is the season here, so a lot of food. Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Stay tuned, and again, if you like us, please do. Thank you for watching. Go to guardingyournestegg.com for your free and objective personal financial plan.